Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So Walmart has finally released its long-awaited 4K streaming device that is called the OWN 4K Streaming Pro. Now, I say this has been anticipated for a couple of reasons, especially for those of us who are in the cotton community. I know Amazon has been kind of acting funny lately, so I mean, the decision to go with a customized OS and things like that have just kind of made people kind of excited about this device and just wanting to see if this is going to be the perfect replacement for your Amazon Fire TV stick or Fire TV device. So let's take a look at a couple of specs. It does support 4K UHD resolution, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision. It does have fast Wi-Fi, where I believe it's the Wi-Fi 6. It does have a Find My Remote feature. You can easily cast your photos, videos, and music via built-in Chromecast. Let's read through the specs. The CPU is a quad-core Cortex A55. The GPU is a Mali G31 MP2. It has 3 gigs of RAM and comes with a 32 gig storage, which is obviously expandable as this has a USB 3.0, so you can obviously use an external drive to expand the storage. Yeah, let's unbox this and see what we have inside. So we do have a user guide in the box, and it looks like it's very well detailed. They basically give you all the information that you need to set this up. So it is a user guide for dummies. And let's bring this out. We'll get to that. What do we have here? This is the power cable. It does come with a HDMI cable, which is good that they give you one of that. And then comes with a battery. And we have the remote. Interesting design. Wouldn't say it's the best quality remote out there, but it is a $50 device. So I would cut my expectations, but it has all the standard basic features that you would need: a YouTube button, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount, the standard control. There is the voice activation, Google activation button, and there is a star button at the very top that I believe will be for creating favorites. So you should be able to set up a couple of your favorite applications or features using that particular star button. So for a $50 device, that's not bad. You know, it is a budget-friendly streaming device for those of us in the streaming space. They are also, I mean, obviously cheaper devices there if all you're doing is streaming, but I think that just given by the specs of this particular one, that, you know, it looks like something that will be a really good replacement for a Fire TV stick if that's what you're doing. Or if you're just looking for, you know, something that has a relatively good price and is not maybe the Nvidia Shield, the AppleTV 4K, or the Roku. So I think this is a good mid-level price device. Let's just check what we have. So we have the Ethernet, there's the HDMI out, there is a USB 3.0 port, there is the DC in. Let's see if I can show that. And then in front of it, I believe that is the Find My Device button that you basically just press, and it helps you to locate your remote control. So, which is something that I tend to need always. And look, there is also a button on the side. I believe that that is the mute button. So you are able to quiet the mic feature if you're not using it or if you're not comfortable with having it on all the time. So they give you a physical button to be able to turn it on. And also at the back, there is a reset button. It's a relatively built well-built device. Kind of has some weight to it. It's not light like the average. I think the older version that they had was way smaller. So it's good to see that this is built. Now, how that translates to device quality, I would have to test it to find out. But yeah, I'll go ahead and set this up and then we can take a look at the interface. It is an Android Google device. It does have a voice activation feature, which is really great. So I'll go ahead and set this up and we can take a look and see what we got. Be right back. So setting up the device, we have the welcome screen. You select English, United States is the language, the region, United States. And then you have the option to set up with the Google Home app. If you have that, you can download and open the Google Home app on your phone to get started and then follow the instructions. I'll just go with setup on the TV just so that we can walk through the setup options. But if you already know how to do the setup using the Google Home app, that is the best way to get it done. Okay, so let's set up using the TV. And I am connected to Ethernet, which I would always recommend if you are using a device like this. But if you don't have Ethernet connection, there's nothing wrong with using Wi-Fi. It does come with Wi-Fi 6, which is much better for wireless connections. Let's continue. There is a new update available, so let's complete that update. So there we have it. The update is complete and you get to sign in with your Google account. If you don't have one, you will need to create one. If you already have an existing one, go ahead and sign in using that account. So there you have it. I am logged in and you have to accept the terms of service. You can read through all of this if you want to, but I think I'll just do what most people do, accept without reading. Use location, I tend to uncheck this. Help improve, no, I do not plan to send up any data to Google to help them. Stay up to date with Google TV, nope, thank you. Let's continue with Google Assistant. You can choose to allow this option or not if you don't want to share your request across all TV apps. And then you can choose from a selection of TV applications that are offered to you. If you use any of them, you can go ahead and just select them here and then they will get installed. Also, you can do that from the Google Play Store that comes with the device. So there you have it. You can set up the remote. I will proceed to set up the remote and I am using an AV receiver, unable to reach Google's server. Okay, we'll give it one try. Okay. It's not able to connect to Google server, so we're just going to complete the setup. Okay, that took a while, but let's start exploring. And there you have it, the Google TV home screen. Now let's just go around and navigate. I mean, for those of us who are familiar with Google TV, this is what you get, your standard screen with recommendations for the different applications. But before we go into that, let's just go straight to the settings and see the options that we have. So first, you can rename your device to whatever you want. And then we get the display and sound option, HDMI CEC. You can set the display resolution, text scaling if you want the text to be small, default large, For your dynamic range and color, if your device supports Dolby Vision, you can go in and enable Dolby Vision. Yes, I am capable of getting Dolby Vision in my home theater, but you know, if you have a TV that supports that, you can go set that. You have the option to always match content, which is what I would always recommend. And what that does is that if you're playing an SDR content, you want the device to output it as SDR. If you're playing HDR, if you're playing Dolby Vision, you want it to match that content. Now, this does support low latency Dolby Vision, which means that the player is providing the Dolby Vision, not the display screen. That's probably going to go over the head of those of us who are not in the home theater space, but it's a good option to have, trust me. Now we get to match content frame rate. There's 3 options: seamless, non-seamless, never. That's interesting. I would go with the seamless. You have your advanced display. There's a game mode. You can select the format. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is where you get to select whatever formats, but I do already have it to be automatic and then to match my dynamic range. Then we have sound. You always want to go automatic with the sound features. Network, I am connected via Ethernet. And if you do have Wi-Fi, you can select and put in your Wi-Fi. You have the option to add your Google account, as many as you can, probably up to 3, I think. Your privacy options. I turned off location. You have your microphone. If you want to give microphone access, it does support camera. We are not sending diagnostics. We're going to come back to the apps. Let's go to the system. You have your accessibility options. You have your system updates, where you can check to see what updates you have. And just the standard information that tells you about the device. You have your date and time option. Language. Keyboard option, storage, if you want to include. Now, this is interesting. So the device does say that it supports 32 gigs, but the total space that you will actually get is 23 gigs. So it is, I guess, saving 10 gigabytes of storage for all the internal processing, which is not bad for a $50 device. So you can adjust your power settings. You can set ambient mode. That's interesting. Your cast option is on here. You can restart the device using that option. Your remote, if you want to pair an accessory, this allows you to, and you get to check the status of your One remote. It is connected. So let's go back and play around with the settings. Now, this is one feature that is put in place to protect your device, but then can become a bottleneck, which is the Scan App with Play Protect. I turned this off. I'm not going to give you a recommendation on if you should do that or not. I'll leave it at that. You can set your usage access, so you can turn off access to different applications. Your system settings, you can go in there and make changes. So under the privacy, we will go to the Google Assistant, and then we want to turn on the hey, her name. You want to turn that on, and that will allow you to be able to use the Google Voice Assistant. So now let's go into the system. Let's go into the About settings. So in the About section, we're going to scroll down to the Android TV OS build, and then you want to select this a couple of times. I think about 6 or 7, probably 8 times. And then it tells you you are now a developer. That flashed right at the bottom of the screen. Then we go back out to the main system menu, and then scroll down, you will have developer option. So once we go into developer options, there are usually a couple of changes that I quickly make on here. I think the first one, they both have to do with the animation, right? I usually would set my window animation scale to 0.5 and the transition also to 0.5. And then I believe we want to find the option that allows us to add external apps. Yeah, I believe that's this one. So force allow apps on external. We want to turn this feature on. And this basically allows you to be able to write your applications to an external storage. And with that, I think we're done with just the initial setup. I'm pretty sure there's probably a few other things that I may have missed out, but I can do a couple of follow-up videos or just shorts that will cover some of these. And now let's explore the Google Play Store. That add app features that allows you to be able to go in and then search for different applications. And let's see if I can find one of my favorite applications. Now doing a speed test, I am getting 97 download. Now it's important to note that this Ethernet port is only 100 megabits. It's not a gigabit port. So I'm definitely limited. This is probably the maximum. So I have a gigabit Ethernet up and down, but it's limited. So it's a hardware limitation. But there you have it. This is the initial setup for the Walmart on 4K Pro box. It is a standard streaming box. It does look a little bit snappy. Now, some of the updates and just setup took some time. I expected it to be a little bit faster, but I'm always reminded it's a $50 device. It's not an Nvidia Shield. It's not an AppleTV 4K, and it's not the top-of-the-line Roku TV. But it comes across as an amazing device. I will go ahead and do some testing with this. I will not be using this in the home theater because I already have the Apple TV and the Nvidia Shield. This will be going into a different room where it will be the primary streaming device for that room, replacing the Fire TV stick. And I'm looking forward to just testing it out and trying the different options, doing some streaming. Now, for those as well as in the home theater space, we know that this is not playing your ISO files and none of that. Probably not, but if you do have your movies in the external storage, you can use it for, but I think this is strictly designed for cord cutters who are using streaming devices. This is not to compete with any of your NAS storage device or any of your ZPDs or nothing like that. This is purely a streaming device. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.